Joining us now from Washington, NBC News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent and the host of Andrea Mitchell Reports here on MSNBC, Andrea Mitchell. Andrea, good morning. You were there in the room at that debate. It's jarring even to see the video again, just how close Donald Trump was looming over her shoulder. And now to hear her, in her own words, talking about what was racing through her mind as she was trying to conduct a debate that night.
And think about the context. That was the town hall debate where Bannon and Bossie and others from the Trump campaign had done a Facebook Live event with Paula Jones and the other women who had been accusers of Bill Clinton, and then they were seated in the front of the bleachers there. This was the most incredibly tense moment, and here he was, as you point out, looming over. It's hard at this point to separate that from the SNL parody with Kate McKinnon and Alec Baldwin and the Jaws music as he kept circling around her. But when you think about it, and having talked to people close to Hillary Clinton, she keeps revisiting that because she's thinking about whether if she had stopped and said, "Back up, you creep," would the events have changed? And women can relate to this, I think. And she knows that clearly. This is a moment. Every woman has had an experience with a man that is that kind of threatening moment where you suck it up and clench your fists and dig your nails into your palms and try to sort of carry on. And she represents that. And this is a signal moment. I'm told that she came back to talk to her aides afterwards, and she sank into a chair and she said, "Boy, this has been hard, but that was really hard," and exhaled deeply. I mean, I think people will relate to this. This is a different Hillary Clinton, different kind of book. Obviously, there's a lot of calculation in here, but it's fascinating to hear her voice. And most authors do not read their entire book. This is hard work, as Joe knows and others who've done it. So this is a big moment.
You know, it is. We were talking, Mark Halpern and I were talking last hour about how this is different for the Clintons, who usually seem to be calculated from beginning to end when they write books. Bill Clinton's 8,000-page autobiography was almost unreadable because every page was calculated, it seemed, but that's stripped away here. I mean, you're just kind of jarred, regardless of what you think of Hillary Clinton, when she says, I knew I had a great responsibility and I failed, and it will haunt me for the rest of my life. This is not standard fare for political memoirs. And yes, she'll be calculating, I'm sure, in this book. And yes, she'll maybe blame others instead of herself. But a lot of self-reflection here, I think, that we're hearing that a lot of people are going to be really surprised by, Andrea. It's going to make it very compelling.
I've covered Hillary Clinton since the really tough days of the campaign in 1992. I mean, we remember all the New Hampshire primary and the explosion, and I'll never forget the day in Concord when she showed up in New Hampshire after the debate over Colonel Holmes and the draft, and of course, Jennifer Flowers. And that's when they turned that around and turned a second-place victory into a real victory in New Hampshire. We all remember that. I've never seen her this self-reflective, and that's what's going to be so compelling about this. And it also reminds you of the Rick Blasio moment with Tim Russert moderating that debate in Buffalo when she was starting her political career, running for the Senate in New York, and he came into her space, and that, women all over New York State looked at that. And that's when Rick Blasio, the Republican, lost the election against Hillary Clinton, and that's what launched her in her Senate victory. So there's a lot rolled up in this, but when we look at that now, that video, my memory, it now becomes so vivid from that debate. And Donald Trump, and of course this being released to you exclusively today in the context of last night's rally makes it ever more poignant.
Yeah, and she talks about do-overs. As Joe said, it'll be interesting to see how deep she goes in to problems she may have had and problems her campaign may have had and how much responsibility and blame they take. Heidi, I want to